Got to make some
it
of
did swim good.
or buy
and
some.
they were terrible then. I didn't know how to keep the paint came off, and they were like crude, but they bit them, man, and they still bite them.
Yep.
I caught 4 stripers yesterday and had another big one on. They bite them.
Yeah, that's what's crazy.
It's a little trick how you work the shore, because I picked that up from brown fishing. I know how to work the angles. I mean, I've been trolling, 50 years, so I kind of know that a little bit.
Yeah, that's what blows my mind is this lure has been around for all this time with all the new fancy swim baits out there, and you take the original AC plug original right now to the river, and it's catching more stripers than anything else, pretty much.
It still catches them. Isn't that something? It still catches big bass, too. I just haven't been fishing for them. But the bass guys won't use it very much. They want something to look real pretty. But this old crude AC still gets them.
Yeah. So how many lures do you think you built over there? I mean, you've been building handmade this whole time since the late 80s.
Yeah, I have.
So you must have built, who knows, maybe a couple 100,000 lures.
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. And
then you've had a couple of companies manufacture the lures over the years, right? I mean, Arbogast did it. Yeah, Arbogast, and then Lure Jensen, and then
it's amazing, these big companies, with all their technology and all that, they don't know how to build a lure. If they would have built this lure from day one and made it right, it could have made millions of dollars.
Yes. And didn't Arbogast...
The thing comes off, they don't make it right. I thought, gee, these guys go to college, they're supposed to be smart. And basically, they got all the stuff there, they don't know how to make the lure right. It's amazing to me. Still don't.
Yeah, that's funny.
They make it look pretty and all that, but they don't have the savvy for it.
Yeah, you know what's really cool, too, is going back to the trout stuff is it turns out that 7-inch original has been one of the top producers for big lake trout on the West Coast the last few years. That 7-inch original seems to be deadly.
And pike, too. I had guys ordering from Canada. They kind of slowed down now because they don't know who I am or where I'm at. But they can catch this big pike, too, the 7-inch, and muskie. I don't know why they like that. I'm just not into that. It's way off, and then they can't do everything. I'm not like Del Kenny that went to... You read the book. 27 or 30 states and set records in all of them. All.
We were. Yeah.
How much can you do in one lifetime, right?
Yeah, Allan and I have been talking lately a little bit about some Del Canny and Ray Johnson and some of their stories and pretty amazing stuff. But segueing back to your recent trout trips, is it true that a few years back you got 5 browns over 10 pounds in 1 year?
I did that. I got 5 over 10 pounds at the gorge in one trip.
No, I know, but just recently, didn't you?
Since then, later, that's true.
That was a few years back? Was that 2000?
I have to admit that's good myself, because I went a few years fishing hard and didn't get any. You know how they are. They're tough.
Oh yeah.
They don't just show up all the time. They're weird creatures.
Yes. So you're still out there. You're still out there getting them, and you're still out there pounding it.
In fact, to prove that, I was up at Twin Lakes this year, 3 trips, and they caught like 6 over 10 right under my nose. Most of them are novices. Heck, all of them. No, not all of them. Dan Stewart's kind of got it together. And,
but a few guys
are pretty much novices, and here I am, the pro, and I didn't get nothing over, I don't know, maybe 3 pounds, not 15.
But isn't that the cool thing about brown trout fishing is you can be humbled at any time?
Oh, yeah.
Just when you think you got it figured out. I mean, look at you. You probably know more about browns than anyone, and you could still get humbled.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of getting humbled, how cool was it that you were in the boat when your son catches a 21-pound brown a couple years back?
I looked at that thing when I met it, and I told him, that's a 20-pounder, friend.
Why don't you tell me that?
I know
tell
what
me that story.
Looks like. Huh?
Tell me that story. So you're up at Wiki Up with your son Eric.
Yeah.
Take it away.
Yeah, we're going along, and it was windy out because the boat was like it was real windy.
Now, was this in the spring or?
Yeah, it was in the early spring. If I remember, it seems like it was in May. It had to be early.
Okay.
And it was windy, and we're going along in the flats, and all of a sudden, man, this rod went down. It just started taking line, and it was pulling good. Then it kind of sulked. It ran and then sulked, if I remember right. And he's bringing it in. It was out of sight. We couldn't see it. It was going around the boat, and I brought my rod in and going around the boat. And finally it got a little closer, and I looked like, and at first, when you first see him, you can't tell how big they are. You could just see it looked like a nice one. Look, you're hoping it's over 10. When it starts getting close, I thought, oh man, that's a big one. That thing. And when I hit the deck of the boat, I could see it was over 20 for sure.
Oh my gosh!
You one look at it, I thought, oh my, you're so lucky. He starts yelling and yelling in the boat. When you catch a 20 in the boat, man, you know that's your lucky day. That's all there is to it.
And then he ended up getting like a 14 hook job a few weeks later or something like that.
Yeah, that was a big fish. Yeah, that was a big one too. That
crazy.
fish would have weighed more if it was longer, with like fat kind of.
Yeah, I guess that makes up for.
Fat it with you.
Yeah, I guess that makes up for the time he spent in the camper when you were fishing the gorge. He told me one time that when he was real little, you guys took the whole family over to the gorge and the kids stayed in the camper while you went out fishing.
We went out fishing because it was snowing at 8 degrees out. Oh, that gorge was unforgiving. It got violently cold there. And windy and snowing.
So Sherry and the kids were in the camper?
Yeah.
What were they doing in the camper? Just playing games?
Oh, they were playing games and stuff and had that propane going to keep it warm in there, you know. That's funny,
That's too cool. Well, talking about your family, why don't you tell me a little bit about how long have you been married?
46 years, isn't that crazy?
46 years of marriage. Well, good job.
That is party kind of when I was younger, and all my buddies, some of them, my dad married us. He was like he ordained himself a minister.
Mm-hmm.
And my party buddies came and they said, "Oh, this will last about 3 months." That's funny. 46
years later. Well, congratulations. That doesn't happen these days.
No,
very
it
often.
Doesn't happen very much.
How about your kids? Tell me a little bit about your two sons. Tell me a little bit about what they did and what they ended up doing. And
they're doing pretty good, actually. I raised them good. I was a worker. I worked a lot. And they grew up and did good. And Michael, he's like a bookworm type. He never got into fishing. Eric just the opposite. He was in baseball, and Michael, he went to Pepperdine. I paid for it at first, and then after a while, work slowed down. He paid for it the last 3 years on his own, and he got a degree from Pepperdine. Then he got a CPA, and so he's doing real well.
So one of your sons graduates cum laude from Pepperdine and becomes a top accountant in Long Beach, and your other son
one of the top accountants around, yeah. And
ends up playing AAA professional baseball.
Oh, for 13 years. He was actually when we lived in Palmdale, he's like in T-ball, and I used to take him to the batting cage every day faithfully. For years, and he got so, and he just missed Player of the Year at Antelope Valley High School, and they went into the playoffs and all that, and then go real far, and then he went to Antelope Valley College. He was supposed to go to, in fact, Cal State Northridge came in 10th in the country that year in college, and he was supposed to be on that team, and my cousin's son, which is his second cousin, was on the team, was a pitcher on that team. So we'd go watch their games, but then he went to Antelope Valley because he kind of bought it near home, and he got drafted by Houston Astros. In the 20th round, he went to Iowa, and he went to New York, and he went to Florida, and he told me, "Oh, Dad, I'm getting promoted to AA. I'm going to Texas, in Round Rock, Texas, and Nolan Ryan's new stadium. He owns the park and built a new stadium, so." And then he says he went there and he played, and he almost became Player of the Year there. They won the championship in his first year, and Nolan Ryan's daughter was working there as kind of helped around the field and all that, and she fell for Eric, and they ended up getting married.
So Eric married Nolan Ryan's daughter.
Yeah.
Wow, that must have been a interesting situation.
Yeah, and they were married like 3 years, and then it just didn't work out. But anyway.
And now Eric's happily married with a little baby up in Oregon, right? Fishing away up there.
That's it. Yeah, he came back, and he actually got AAA, and he was in AAA. He was actually here in Vegas playing the 51.
So you got to go watch him play in Vegas.
Yeah, he was in AAA for 3 years. New Orleans, Then he was on Oklahoma. Then he went to Double A. Then he was in Chicago because he had a hamstring injury and he had to finally quit. And he came home, and so when you're done with baseball, you have to know what to do and this and that. So he moved to Huntington Beach, where he married his wife now. And I got a little grandson, by the way, up in Bend. They moved.
And I'm sure your grandson will be fishing soon, right? he's got some serious trout in his blood. So tell me, segueing quickly, what are your goals for 2014 for fish?
For fish, yeah.
You want to catch some? What are your goals for browns? I'd
like to get another 50-pounder, actually.
Another 20?
Yeah, I'd like to get a 20. I'd like to, but you know how they don't come. I mean, you got to be lucky.
Yeah.
And being good helps, but you got to be lucky too.
Yeah.
I'd like to do that. Let's put it that way.
Awesome. Nice. Well, it's amazing you're still out fishing. How old are you now, Allan?
71 and a half.
71 and a half, and still up at 4 in the morning chasing the browns, driving all over the country chasing the browns. Wow. Amazing.
Yeah, I know. That is something. Yeah, I try to stay in shape. I had heart surgery, 7 years ago?
Yeah, that's right. You had a heart attack, didn't you?
Yeah, well, a light one, but nevertheless. So I basically changed the way I eat and I exercise. So I try to stay in shape.
Yeah, I remember, Allan, when I went brown trout fishing with you pulled out some sardines.
Oh, I eat the sardines, yeah. I eat the fish, eat an apple every day, that kind of stuff.
That's awesome.
You gotta do it. Lay off the red meat, eat a lot of vegetables, that's stuff like that. You gotta do that when you get older and you crash.
Yeah. Well, awesome talking with you today, Allan. Really appreciate your time. I'm sure the guys over at Epic Trout are going to love hearing some of your stories, and hope you have a great season next year with some big browns, and we look forward to continuing to hear about your lures and your life. Thanks again.